So a couple of weeks go by, not even a couple of weeks, it was months in fact. And a doctor eventually calls me and she said, hey, you were referred to me by this doctor. I need to see you, please come in. So I go in and it was one of the most affirming experiences of my life. So I get in, she asks me about myself, my job, what I do, blah, blah, blah. And then we start getting into the history of my illness and how I ended up in the situation I'm in. She had the ultrasound scans from the other doctors, so she was like, clearly this is a serious issue, but I need to do some tests. So she sent me out, we did a lot of tests, and she confirmed something the other doctor had said, which was that I was now anemic. I had never been anemic in my life. Even when I had those heavy periods, my iron levels were always on point. But for some reason, I was now anemic. And she said, yep, that's typical when you've got fibroids, and these fibroids are huge. So she put me on an iron supplement. She then said she was going to refer me to the Women's Health Clinic in Ottawa because this is what they deal with. They deal with female reproductive health and other female health issues. So she thought it would be best to send me to them so that they would be able to do my surgery. And she said to make sure that they prioritize your case, I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to send you in for an MRI. And two, I'm going to have you take a cancer antigen test. And that was eye-opening for me because in my life, even though I had been educated about endometriosis and I had read as much as I could about it, nobody had ever told me that endometriosis behaves like cancer. Such that if you take the cancer antigen test and you have endometriosis, it will come back positive. Yes, please let that sink in so that we understand the gravity of women being treated as though endometriosis is not a serious issue or a chronic illness. She said, you have to do this MRI, you have to take this cancer antigen test. So I said, okay, but how will I know that it's not cancer when the results come out? She said, the MRI will let us know, don't worry. Cool. So I take cancer antigen test and obviously it comes back positive and very high and I am terrified out of my mind. So I'm sitting there thinking, is this the end? Did I spend all my life gathering achievements and working hard and building up to nothing really, only to go out like this? Like I really had a coming to God moment that day because I didn't know what to do. I called my sister and we were just like crying together on the phone because I didn't know, I wasn't sure. And she called me, my doctor was that good. She called me and said, I don't want you to worry because it's not cancer. This disease just happens to behave exactly like cancer.